Once there was a little mouse. He was a busy mouse, searching everywhere, touching his whiskers to the grass and looking. He was busy as all mice are, busy with mice things. But once in a while he would hear an odd sound. He would lift his head, squinting hard to see, his whiskers wiggling in the air, and he would wonder. One day he scurried up to a fellow mouse and asked him,
"Do you hear roaring in your ears, my brother?"
No, answered the other mouse, not lifting his busy nose from the ground.
"I hear nothing. I am busy now. Talk to me later."
He asked another mouse the same question, and the mouse looked at him strangely. "Are you foolish in the head? What sound?" he asked, and slipped into a hole in a fallen cottonwood tree. The little mouse shrugged his whiskers and busied himself again, determined to forget the whole matter. But there was that roaring again. It was faint, very faint, but it was there. One day he decided to investigate the sound just a little. Leaving the other busy mice, he scurried a little ways away and listened again. There it was. He was listening hard, and when suddenly someone said hello. "Hello, little brother," the voice said, and Mouse almost jumped right out of his skin. He arched his back and tail and was about to run. "Hello!" again said the voice. "It is I, Brother Raccoon." And sure enough, it was. "What are you doing here all by yourself, little brother?" asked the raccoon. Little Mouse blushed and put his nose almost to the ground.
"I hear roaring in my ears, and I am investigating it," he answered timidly. "A roaring in your ears?" replied the raccoon as he sat down with him. "What you hear, little brother, is the river." "The river?" Little Mouse asked curiously. "What is a river?" "Walk with me and I will show you the river," Raccoon said. Little Mouse was terribly afraid, but he was determined to find out once and for all about all that roaring. "I can return to my work," he thought. "After this thing is settled, and possibly this thing may aid me in all my busy explaining, examining, and collecting. And my brothers all said it was nothing. I will show them. I will ask Raccoon to return with me, and I will have proof." "All right, Raccoon, my brother, lead on to the river. I will walk with you."
Little Mouse walked with Raccoon. His little heart was pounding in his chest. The raccoon was taking him on strange paths, and the little mouse smelled the scent of many things that had gone by this way. Many times he became frightened and he almost turned back. Finally, they came to the river. It was huge and breathtaking, deep and clear in places and murky in others. Little Mouse was unable to see across it because it was so great. It roared, sang, cried, and thundered on its course. Little Mouse saw great and little pieces of the world carried along its surface.
It is powerful,"
Little Mouse said, fumbling for words. "It is a great thing," answered Raccoon. "But here, let me introduce you to a friend." In a smoother, shallower place was a lily pad, bright and green. Sitting upon it was a frog, almost as green as the pad it sat on. The frog's white belly stood out clearly. "Hello, little brother," said Frog. "Welcome to the river." "I must leave you now," cut in Raccoon. "But do not fear, little brother, for Frog will take care of you now." And Raccoon left, looking along the riverbank for food that he might wash and eat. Little Mouse approached the river and looked into it. He saw a frightened mouse reflected there.
"Who are you?"
Little Mouse asked the reflection.
"Are you not afraid of being that far out in the great river?"
"No," answered Frog. "I am not afraid. I have been given the gift from birth to live both above
and within the river. When Winter Man comes and freezes his medicine, I cannot be seen. But all the while the Thunderbird flies, I am here. To visit me, one must come when the world is green. I, my brother, am the keeper of the water.
Amazing, Little Mouse said at last, again fumbling for words.
Would you like to have some medicine power?
Frog asked.
Medicine power, me? Oh, yes, if it is possible.
Then crouch as low as you can, then jump as high as you are able, and you will find your medicine,
Frog said. Little Mouse did as he was instructed. He crouched as low as he could and jumped. And when he did, his eyes saw the sacred mountains. Little Mouse could hardly believe his eyes, but there they were. But then he fell back to the earth and he landed right in the river. Little Mouse became frightened and scrambled back to the bank. He was wet and frightened nearly to death.
You have tricked me,
Little Mouse screamed at the frog.
Wait,
said the frog.
You are not harmed. Do not let your fear and anger blind you. What did you see?
I
stammered Little Mouse.
I saw the sacred mountains.
And you have a new name, Frog said. It is Jumping Mouse.
Thank you,
Jumping Mouse said and thanked him again.
I want to return to my kind and tell them of this journey.
Go then,
Frog said.
Return to your kind. It is easy to find them. Keep the sounds of the Medicine River to the back of your head. Go opposite that sound and you will find your brother mice.
Jumping Mouse returned to the world of mice, but he found disappointment. No one would listen to him. And because he was wet and he had no way of explaining it, because there'd been no rain, many of the mice were afraid of him. They believed that he had been spat out from the mouth of another animal that had tried to eat him. And they all knew if he had not been food for the one who wanted him, then he must be poison for them. Jumping Mouse lived again among his kind, but he could not forget his vision of the sacred mountains. The memory burned in the mind and heart of Jumping Mouse. And one day he went to the edge of the place of mice and looked out onto the prairie. He looked up for eagles. The sky was full of many spots, each one an eagle. But he was determined to go to the sacred mountains. So he gathered all of his courage and ran as fast as he could onto the prairie. His little heart pounded with excitement and fear. He ran until he came to a stand of sage. He was resting and trying to catch his breath when he saw an old mouse. The patch of sage Old Mouse lived in was a haven for mice, seeds and many things to be busy with.
Hello,
said the old mouse.
Welcome.
Jumping Mouse amazed.
Such a place and such a mouse. You are truly a great mouse.
Jumping Mouse said with all the respect he could find.
This is truly a wonderful place, and the eagles cannot see you either.
Jumping Mouse said.
Yes,
said Old Mouse.
One can see all the beans of the prairie here. The buffalo, the antelope, the rabbit, and the coyote. One can see all of them from here and know their names. This is marvelous,
Jumping Mouse said.
Can you also see the river and the great mountains?
Yes and no,
Old Mouse said with conviction.
I know the great river, but I am afraid that the great mountains are only a myth. Forget your passion to see them and stay here with me. There's everything you want here, and it's a good place to be.
How can he say such a thing?
Jumping Mouse thought.
The medicine of the sacred mountain is nothing one can forget. Thank you very much for the meal that you've shared with me, old mouse, and thank you also for sharing your great home. But I must seek the mountains.
You are a foolish mouse to leave. There's danger on the prairie. Just look up there.
Old Mouse said with even more conviction.
See all them spots? Them's eagles. They're gonna catch you.
It was hard for Jumping Mouse to leave, but he gathered his determination and ran hard again. The ground was rough, so he arched his tail and ran with all his might. He could feel the shadows of the spots on his back as he ran. All those spots. Finally, he ran into a stand of chokecherries. Jumping Mouse could hardly believe his eyes. There was water, cherries, seeds to eat, grasses to gather for nests, holes to be explored, and many, many other busy things to do. And there were a great many things to gather. He was investigating his new domain when he heard a very heavy breathing. He quickly investigated the sound and discovered its source. It was a great mound of hair with big black horns. It was a great buffalo. Jumping Mouse could hardly believe the greatness of the being he saw lying before him. He was so large that Jumping Mouse could have crawled into one of his great horns.
Such a magnificent being,
thought Jumping Mouse, and he crept closer.
Hello, my brother. Thank you for visiting me.
Hello, great being. Why are you lying here?
I am sick and dying, and my medicine has told me that only the eye of a mouse can heal me. Little brother, there is no such thing as a mouse.
Jumping Mouse was shocked.
One of my eyes?
He thought.
One of my tiny little eyes?
He scurried back into the stand of chokecherries, but the breathing came harder and slower.
He will die,
thought Jumping Mouse,
if I do not give him my eye. He is too great a being to let die.
He went back to where the buffalo lay and spoke.
I am a mouse,
he said with a shaky voice.
And you, my brother, are a great being. I cannot let you die. I have 2 eyes, so you can have one of them.
The minute he said it, Jumping Mouse's eye flew out of his head and the buffalo was made whole. The buffalo jumped to his feet, shaking and jumping. Mouse's whole world.
Thank you, my little brother. I know of your quest to the sacred mountains and of your visit to the river. You have given me life so that I may give away to the people. I will forever be your brother. Run under my belly and I will take you right to the foot of the sacred mountains, and you need not fear the spots. The eagles cannot see you while you run under me. All they will see is the back of a buffalo.
Jumping Mouse ran under the buffalo, secure and hidden from the spots. With only one eye, it was very frightening. The buffalo's great hooves shook the whole world each time he took a step. And finally, they came to a place, and Buffalo stopped.
This is where I must leave you, little brother,
said Buffalo.
I am of the prairie, and I will fall on you if I try and go up the mountains.
Thank you very much,
said Jumping Mouse.
But you know, it was very, very frightening to run underneath you with only one eye. I constantly in fear of your great earth-shaking hooves.
Your fear was for nothing, said Buffalo. For my way of walking is the Sundance way, and I always know where my hooves will fall. I now must return to the prairie, my brother, but you can always find me there.
Jumping Mouse immediately began to investigate his new surroundings. There were even more things there than the other places, busier things, and an abundance of seeds and other things mice like. In his investigation of these things, suddenly he ran upon a gray wolf who was sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
Hello, Brother Wolf,
said Jumping Mouse. The wolf's ears came alert and his eyes shone.
Wolf? Wolf? Yeah, that's what I am. I'm a wolf.
But then his mind dimmed again, and it was not too long before he sat quietly again, completely without memory as to who he was. Each time Jumping Mouse reminded him who he was, he became so excited with the news, but soon would forget again.
such a great being,
thought Jumping Mouse.
but he has no memory.
Jumping Mouse went to the center of his new place and was quiet. He listened for a very long time to the beating of his heart. Then suddenly he made up his mind. He scurried back to where the wolf sat and he spoke.
Brother Wolf,
Jumping Mouse said.
Wolf? Wolf?
Said the wolf.
please, Brother Wolf, please listen to me. I know what will heal you. It is one of my eyes, and I want to give it to you. You are a greater being than I. I am only a mouse. Please take it.
When Jumping Mouse finished speaking, his eye flew out of his head and the wolf was made whole. Tears fell down the cheeks of the wolf, but his little brother could not see them, for now he was blind.
You are a great brother, said the wolf. For now, I have my memory, but you are blind. I am the guide to the sacred mountains. I will take you there. There is a great medicine lake there.
Please take me there.
Jumping Mouse said. The wolf guided him through the pines to the medicine lake. Jumping Mouse drank the water from the lake. As the wolf described him, the beauty of the lake.
Well, I must leave you here, for I must return so I may guide others. But I will remain with you as long as you like.
Thank you, my brother.
Said Jumping Mouse.
Although I am frightened alone, I know you must go so you can show others the way to this place.
Jumping Mouse sat there trembling in fear. It was no use running, for he was blind, and he knew the eagle would find him there. He felt a shadow on his back and heard the sound the eagles make. He braced himself for the shock, and the eagle hit. Jumping Mouse went to sleep. But then he woke up. The surprise of being alive was great, and now he could see. Everything was blurry and the colors were beautiful.
I can see.
Jumping Mouse said. Jumping Mouse squinted hard, but the shape remained a blur.
Hello, brother,
Said a voice.
do you want some medicine?
Medicine for me?
Asked Jumping Mouse.
Yes.
Then crouch as low as you can
The voice said.
and jump as high as you can. Do not be afraid,
The voice called to him.
hang on to the wind and trust.
Jumping Mouse did. He closed his eyes, hung onto the wind, and it carried him higher and higher. Jumping Mouse opened his eyes and they were clear, and the higher he went, the clearer they became. Jumping Stuffy Mouse saw his old friend upon a lily pad on the beautiful medicine lake. It was the frog.
You have a new name,
called the frog.
You're Eagle.
The end. Or perhaps a new beginning.